AYANEO has launched a new take on the 3DS, the AYANEO FlipDS. If your first thought is, hey, that looks like a DS, you are right. The FlipDS wears its inspiration on its sleeve. That said, it's clear this beast isn't just a quick cash-in. Along with the massive 7-inch screen up top, the lower half of the console includes not just a screen, but also Hall effect sticks along with several buttons. If the DS styling isn't your thing, AYANEO is also launching the Flip KB, which keeps the same clamshell design but switches out the screen for a full keyboard. I'll put pricing info up on the screen right now. Essentially, the AYANEO Flip KB starts from $699 for the early bird offer, with prices going up to $1,359 for the most expensive high-end version of the device. For the FlipDS, the cheapest version is $739, while the most expensive will set you back $1,359. A quick word of warning, those early bird offers will sell out really fast, so expect to be paying the Indiegogo price as a minimum. If you're interested in checking out the Indiegogo page for the AYANEO Flip, check out the link in the description. As is the case with all of these things, if you guessed there would be several configurations available, congratulations, you're right. Powering the Flip handhelds are the AMD Ryzen 7 840U or the Ryzen 7 8840U. For the graphics, we've got RDNA 3, which means there could be a chance of seeing AMD fluid motion frames. For those who don't know, that's AMD's frame generation software, come to the device either officially or via some sort of workaround. I should note, the two chipsets aren't going to be wildly different when it comes to performance in games. For tasks, the 8840U is the better choice, but if you're only focused on gaming performance, that 7840U will do just fine. For storage, you've got an M.2 2230 PCLE 4.0 SSD that comes in either 512GB or a more meaty 2TB. That internal SSD can be upgraded, but 2TB is the maximum the FlipDS can take. On the RAM side of things, the choices here are 16GB, 32GB, or a massive and frankly unneeded 64GB, all of which are LPDDR5X. It's the screens where things get interesting. The bottom screen is just 3.5 inches across with a max resolution of 960 by 640. That's a ratio of 3:2 for anyone wondering. And yes, you can use the Windows Extend Screen function to the bottom screen. For the top screen, AYANEO has implemented a full 1080p 7-inch IPS display that boasts an sRGB volume of 120% and a colour gamut coverage of 100%. Nice. It also has a maximum TDP of 28 watts and a battery capacity of 55 watt hours. Screen brightness comes in at 400 nits. Have you noticed that little black square on the lower section yet? That's an optical mousepad. Just whack your thumb on it and you can move the mouse in Windows. That's sure to avoid the headache of needing to set up a profile to control the mouse with a controller's stick. For cooling, AYANEO has gone with the new type of liquid VC cooling technology alongside a VC heatsink and heatsink fins. That's as well as a PC-grade turbofan to let the FlipDS hit a TDP of 28 watts. AYANEO is also prepping AirSpace 2.0 to work with the device, some of the features of which, like selecting apps, you'll be able to access via the bottom screen. If you're wondering what the tech's going to look like in action, we do have a rough idea. Judging from the specs alone, the AYANEO FlipDS should be capable of performance similar to the Steam Deck and the Asus ROG Ally. For the latest AAA games, I'd expect to see the following results. For something like Red Dead Redemption 2, I'd expect to see around 40 to 45 frames per second. For something more advanced like Cyberpunk 2077, probably expect in the region of 30 to 45 frames per second. And for something even more recent like Starfield, expect 30 frames per second. Obviously, if we can get AMD fluid motion frames running on the FlipDS, that frame rate is going to be much higher. But going from my previous performance reviews based on similar hardware, that's probably the ballpark I'd expect to see. Moving on, based on what I've learned from using other handhelds, when it comes to emulation, the only real limits placed on the FlipDS should be the state of emulators themselves. Xbox 360, for example, isn't great on the Steam Deck, and no amount of boosts to the internal components is going to change that. And that's not down to the hardware itself, it's just the fact emulation is hard, and getting perfect performance in the more recent retro systems is also tricky. With that in mind, I expect the FlipDS to be able to play up to Switch without too many problems. Performance will likely vary for Xbox, PS3 and Switch itself, but again, that's the emulators more than the hardware. The most important thing though, is that the FlipDS should be able to breeze through systems like the DS and 3DS, and make use of that second screen through the emulators themselves. That's what matters. Is the FlipDS worth picking up? We won't know how good the FlipDS is until it lands in mid-March. What I will say is there simply aren't enough clamshell designs out there, and there really needs to be. This design looks fantastic, the screen has all the right ingredients, and the thoughtful elements like the optical mouse mean this system could be one to watch. Will this system make the list of best retro handhelds? Only time will tell. But if AYANEO can stick the landing, we could be looking at a powerful device that's perfect for modern PC games and emulation on the go. What do you think? Will you be picking this up? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be awesome. Until next time, see ya.